So I, 63 years old, and I'm, I just feel like I'm in the prime of my life. I'm one of those guys that I guess I feel like I can never get old. I don't know. I still feel like I just got out of high school, which is good and bad. But I had a blood test for some things that were some stuff that I was doing, and they found out that I had an enlarged prostate, and I was like, oh, no big deal. I had an enlarged prostate several times when I was a kid, and so it was no big deal. But I went in and they told me that I had cancer, and my heart just sank. I just felt like I couldn't breathe, and it's like, you never know how you're going to react to something like somebody telling you that you have cancer unless that actually happens. So I had my girlfriend with me, my brand new girlfriend, who I just love to pieces, and she's quite a bit young. She's a lot younger than me, and she was with me, and it was her birthday, and they told me that I had prostate cancer. And I was just devastated. First of all, that she was there. We thought we had good news, because I didn't think there was anything wrong with me, because I'm invincible, I was thinking. And so we both walked out of the room, just devastated. Went to a doctor. They set up an appointment to go to a doctor here in the Valley, and went to this doctor, and they gave me all the options. The options were radiation, chemotherapy, or this guy's favorite one was just, we'll just go in there, and it's so simple. It's really simple. We'll just go in there, and we just remove the prostate, cut here and here, remove the prostate, sew you back together, and you're good to go. You're just like that. It's just that simple, and the cancer will be gone, and you're young, 63 years old, and he's telling me that I'm young. I felt good, but it's like, well, and you're good to go. Everything will be great. The cancer's gone, no more problems. Well, so I went home after the doctor's visit, and my girlfriend and I got on the computer, and we're looking at all this stuff, and we're looking at the complications that this guy didn't discuss with me and with us, and they were spotting and a P, and that erectile dysfunction, several things that they didn't discuss that we found out about this thing. The one that really horrified me was the one where they said, well, I remember him saying, well, they would take out a section, or they cut the tube going to the prostate or through the prostate, and then they take the prostate out, and then they sew that back together. Well, that actually is part of you. That makes your unit smaller, by an inch and a half, 2 inches. And that didn't sound good to me either. But of course, this guy didn't even talk about that. He just sent me on my way and told me that it was just a really easy surgery, and then I'd be cancer-free. Well, now I'm really worried. I'm nervous and everything. But my girlfriend's like, Terry, let's go to another place. Let's just go to another place. And you never take the first person's word for it. So the second guy, this guy, he's telling me the same exact story, but now I have questions about the spotting and stuff like that, and he fills me in on that. And I said, well, what about the erectile dysfunction? Oh, you're young. He said, that doesn't happen all that often, and of course there's medication that you can take that will help with that and stuff in case it does happen, which probably won't. And so we go home, and my life is just about to make a drastic change, and it's for the worse. And I'm just so afraid, so frightened. There's no one to talk to. You look on the internet and stuff, and it's the same answers. Yeah, this is what happens, and this is what happens, and I didn't like any of what happened. And so I remember typing in cures for prostate cancer outside the United States. I didn't care if it was I thought, well, maybe I could make a trip to Mexico or someplace, right? That would be worth it to me. And there's this thing called HIFU, H-I-F-U. I was like, well, I'm reading, I'm thinking, oh, this is really cool. They do it in Mexico, and there was Asia or someplace like that. And they've been doing it for years, and it's very effective. And I'm like, what? And this is HIFU thing. So I'm looking at this HIFU thing, and I'm thinking, well, I'll go to Mexico. Where can I go to in Mexico, whatever? And I thought, wait. I typed in HIFU. Now that I know that there's a name for this treatment, Not even a surgery, it's a treatment. Now that I know that there's a name for it and know what the name is, I typed that HIFU in the United States, and it came up with a place in Florida. I don't remember what the name of the place was, but I called them right away. And they said, oh yeah, I said, we've been doing this, and the FDA approved this procedure in 2015. So now I'm going to fly to Florida and this and that or whatever. This is what I'm thinking in my mind. No problem. But before I could schedule this whole thing to happen, again, now I pulled up in the United States, and the only place that I found it was in Florida. I don't remember how this happened, but I was talking to someone in Florida from that facility, and they say they do it in Mesa, Arizona. I'm like, what? It's still, I had not found anything on the internet. There's nothing on the internet. And this is a couple of years ago, so I don't know what's there now, but I can tell you, I was just at a loss until I just accidentally fell into this HIFU thing. So now I'm doing all this research on HIFU, and I went to see Dr. Meehan and his associates, and they treated me like I was special and like they really cared that my life may or may not change. They really cared. They always cared, before, during, and after the surgery, this procedure. It's not a surgery. Whether my life was going to, they actually cared whether or not I was going to walk out a whole man, which is what I wanted to do. And they answered all my questions. They said it was going to be a simple thing. And the more research that I did on the HIFU and the high percentage rate that they had of success, I'm like, this is too good to be true. And how come they still don't, the insurance company's not covering it and this and that. I came in here, for my procedure, I came into this office, and they had a staff of people. They had flown people in from all kinds of places to assist, to help, not assist, but to, I'm not exactly sure what, to try to make sure that everything was just perfect, because they just really care about this whole thing. They care about saving lives. They care about saving lives, period. And next thing I know, I'm on the table, and I'm nervous, I'm apprehensive. Dr. Meehan comes in, and we have a little conversation. When he left the room, I wasn't worried, I wasn't nervous, I wasn't afraid at all. I knew that when I left this building, I was going to be cancer-free, number one, and number two, that I was still going to be myself, my old self, that refuses to grow up. And but the results were actually better than I could have expected. They really were. They are still to this day. That was a couple of years ago, and when I left, I don't remember them even putting me to sleep, but they did. I guess so that I'd hold still. And so I come out of the anesthesia. My girlfriend takes me home. I remember thinking that night that, I felt no discomfort. I was thinking, shit, did they say I couldn't have sex tonight? It's like, I'm ready to rock. But my girlfriend says, no, you're not supposed to do that for a while. I'm like, okay, whatever. But I felt perfectly fine. The next day, I never had any discomfort from this procedure. I never had any, there's no leakage, there's nothing. I was perfectly normal. I had cancer when I went in. I laid on the table for what seemed like 5 minutes, and then I was on my way home. And it was just that easy. It was that easy and that painless. And I'm ecstatic. I'm thinking, well, hell, I hope they got the cancer, because the rest of me feels great. I had to come in for tests every 3 months to make sure that the cancer had gone, and every 3 months I'd get this apprehension that oh my God, I hope my PSA level has dropped. Oh, please let it drop. And every 3 months it would drop, and every 3 months it would drop, and it continued to where it was really, really low, and I was told, yep, you're cancer free. because of the HIFU treatment, I am allowed to be myself and be exactly who I was when I found out that day that I had cancer. And I think of the other things that I would have faced and had no knowledge of anything other than this is just the way it is. This is your choices. And I think you know, I really wanted to make this video. I invite anybody to call me on the phone. Any questions anybody has, call me on the phone. Don't do that other stuff. Some people have to. I guess sometimes you get this deal where you know, where you have to do something right now because you didn't catch it. You know, you didn't catch it. But you know, 90% of the time, you know, it's just this as easy as a HIFU thing, or maybe even higher. I don't know. It's just easy and simple as going in there with all of these nice people, and they lay you on a table and they put you to sleep for 1 second, it seems like, and you're back out and you're ready to rock. And that's just a blessing. It's just a blessing.